Today marks the birth date of a philosopher whose ideas continue to challenge our understanding of fundamental principles. We are discussing Karl Popper, born on this day in 1902, and specifically his concept of the paradox of tolerance.
That's right. Popper's contribution to political philosophy, particularly regarding open societies, is significant. While many embrace tolerance as an absolute good, he introduced a crucial caveat that often gets overlooked: its inherent paradox. This idea, explored in his work, carries enduring relevance as societies constantly negotiate the complex boundaries of what it means to be tolerant.
The very idea that tolerance could have a paradox feels almost contradictory. Most people consider tolerance a virtue, something we should strive for without limit. What exactly did Popper mean when he spoke of this paradox?
Popper argued that uncritical tolerance eventually destroys itself. He states quite clearly, quote, "Unlimited tolerance must lead to the disappearance of tolerance. If we extend unlimited tolerance even to those who are intolerant, if we are not prepared to defend a tolerant society against the onslaught of the intolerant, then the tolerant will be destroyed and tolerance with them," end quote.
So he's suggesting that being endlessly tolerant of everyone, even those who actively seek to undermine tolerance itself, ultimately leads to a society where tolerance can no longer exist. This fundamentally challenges the common assumption that more tolerance is always better.
Exactly. The core tension is that for tolerance to survive, it cannot tolerate everything. There must be a boundary, a point where a tolerant society defends itself. Otherwise, those who are fundamentally opposed to tolerance and aim to dismantle it will succeed.
This raises a difficult question then. If tolerance isn't limitless, where do we draw the line? Who decides what constitutes intolerance that must not be tolerated? This is where the complex boundaries of tolerance really emerge.
And that's the crucial interpretive challenge. Popper wasn't advocating for the suppression of mere disagreement or unpopular opinions. He noted that in discussions with them, we should try to convince them by rational argument if possible, and if not, we should not suppress them by physical force, for that would surely be intolerant on our part. His concern was with those whose actions or ideologies actively seek to destroy the very framework of a tolerant society itself. It's about protecting the conditions under which tolerance can thrive, not about silencing dissent.
So it's less about intolerance of ideas and more about intolerance of actions or movements that are actively hostile to the foundational principles of an open, tolerant society. The onslaught of the intolerant suggests an aggressive, destructive force, not just someone holding a bad opinion.
Precisely. It implies a need for a robust defense of a tolerant society's institutions and values. This defense might include legal protections against discrimination, education that promotes critical thinking, and a public sphere that actively refutes hateful ideologies, rather than passively allowing them to erode the social fabric.
This isn't a passive stance of live and let live, then. It's an active, even assertive position required to maintain the very possibility of tolerance. It means tolerance is not just a state of being, but a constant, vigilant practice.
That's its enduring relevance. In any era, societies grapple with how to accommodate diverse viewpoints while safeguarding against forces that would dismantle that diversity. Popper's paradox serves as a perpetual reminder that the health of a tolerant society depends on its willingness to defend the limits of its own tolerance.
This idea makes you think deeply about the foundations of a free society. Share this episode with a friend if it made you reconsider the nature of tolerance.